your first question that you asked, is magic real? And I think it is, but it exists in our minds. You know, magic, literally speaking, is not real. You know, I don't claim to have special powers, but if I can provide an experience for someone,
when they say they have powers,
no one has powers, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And if someone claims they have powers, run away, because they're probably crazy and they're gonna rob you or something. I don't know. They're gonna scam you.
Hey there. Welcome to the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast, where you are encouraged to express your natural thoughts and views through casual, meaningful conversations that hopefully can lead to learning and understanding new perspectives. To find out more info, visit www.gfOThoughts.com. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wong and Robert Din. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of Gluten-Free Organic Thought Podcast. My name is Michael, and always with me, Robert.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Today we have a special guest with us, a very magical guest. We have Danny H here with us. Oh, he's already doing tricks.
This is my best trick. This is my favorite one.
There we go. Welcome, Danny. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for spending some time with us. I know you're a busy man doing a lot of shows, so you know.
Nah.
Before we get started, let's start with our drinks. So, what are we drinking?
I knew what you were gonna say.
Yeah, there you go.
See?
I'm drinking wine in a beer mug.
What kind of wine?
In a beer mug. What kind of wine? Yeah.
Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Okay.
All right.
Any specific or just anything that I just found this, I'm just gonna pour it in here.
I found it and I was like, you know what? Instead of pouring it in a wine glass, let me be different and pour it in a beer. And like, I don't want to set the expectation that I'm going to turn the wine into beer. No, it's not gonna happen. I'm not that good.
You're like, oh no, this was originally water, and I turned it into wine.
I turned it into. I'm not Jesus, guys. Or am I?
There we go. And plus, it's more air to let that wine air out more. So
yeah,
more
that too. That's also a reason.
That was the whole reason. That was the real reason.
It is now. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
What I got today is a blue bottle.
Oh, you went no alcohol today. Wow.
I went outside and
you went outside.
Bottle. Yeah, it's amazing.
All right. I thought about drinking alcohol today, but I decided not to because I got other stuff to do tonight, you know.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Fantasy draft is very important, by the way, folks. So.
You got fantasy football draft?
You want to stay sober for that a little bit.
But at least the first few picks.
Yeah, I know, right? So I got this green tea matcha. I'm not sure you can see or not. Homemade, pretty much with oat milk and a little bit of honey, and then this time around I made it more pure, so it's like a little bit stronger taste of matcha. So we'll see how that tastes. But I decided to go take it easy on the caffeine today. I had like a Celsius energy drink and a cup of coffee this morning, so I'm like caffeinated to the max.
Did you say Celsius energy drink?
Yeah. It's a 200.
Heard of those?
They're addictive, high caffeinated energy drink ranges between 200 mg to 300 mgs in a can.
Celsius energy
wow,
drink.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I've heard about those, and funny enough, it's funny that you mentioned that because earlier today I was watching this YouTube video with Jonah Hill where he explains like some of his essentials. Yeah. And Jonah Hill swears by Celsius energy.
What?
Like Jonah Hill literally drinks And every morning. And he's
Robert,
he's not sponsored or anything. He's just like he's a big fan of the drink Celsius. Yeah.
It's your next Red Bull for you, hey Robert.
Wow, really? Yes. I love Red Bull.
I know you do. That's why I'm calling that out.
Here's the thing, right? Like I stopped drinking Red Bull about 5 years ago, but I still love the taste of Red Bull. Like that's why I drank it was the taste. I love the taste.
I hate the taste.
I don't like the taste either. Yeah.
You don't like it? I don't know. Maybe I drank it so much that I love it, and it's like a positive reinforcement type of thing.
Maybe with a Jaeger bomb in it, that's about it. But just
I love
Red Bull vodka.
Taste of Red Bull. Vodka, I would chug that stuff before I went to bed. I would chug it just to get the taste.
enough alcohol talk. So let's get into the real, details of, the topic of this episode today. So the reason why we have Danny on, Danny's gonna help us answer a question: is magic real today?
Oh yeah. So Danny H, he's a magician.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, how long have you been doing magic for?
So I've been doing magic since I was 11. So for about 11 years now.
Okay.
Right? 11 years. Yeah. So it sort of just started out as, a hobby, like most things do. I was just watching YouTube videos and I came across, random magic tutorials, and I started learning like card tricks on YouTube, different basic magic tricks on YouTube. And that's how I started out. I was just learning on my own for like the first year. And then after that, I discovered two different magic clubs in like around where I lived. So I grew up in Miami, and in Miami there's there's a large Hispanic community. So there's one magic club that it was a Hispanic magic club. It was called Gluten Mágico Miami.
That's pretty cool.
It is called Gluten Mágico Miami. It's still, it's still happening.
Yeah.
They'll meet every month. Right now it's sort of, because of COVID, they're not meeting, but they actually just started back up again. So
what is a magic club? Explain that to folks. What does a magic club do exactly?
So a magic club is an exclusive. No, I'm kidding. It's not exclusive at all.
VIP style.
VIP. You gotta show your worth. You gotta show you're worthy before they accept you in. You gotta sign a waiver. You have to sell your soul to. I'm kidding.
That way you don't reveal any secrets, right?
Yeah.
No secrets revealed.
It's really, it's really just like any art form that may have meetings or like clubs. It's just a bunch of magicians. We meet up, we show each other magic tricks, we learn magic tricks off of each other. Typically in magic clubs, they'll have they'll do like basic stuff like, oh, is everyone doing good, like basic, because there's like a president, secretary, all that stuff that handles different things. And then we just have fun. We have like stage time. There's not really a stage typically. Depends on like the venue, but our club, we would meet at a restaurant every month. And then we switched it to a banquet hall. So we would have technically like this little stage with nice lights, and then we would perform something. So everyone, if they wanted to, they would sort of like an open mic kind of thing.
No, as I was saying, it's an internal open mic, so that way you can practice your tricks in front of people. You get feedbacks and stuff. Almost like that.
That's exactly what it is. Wow. Yeah,
that's like a Toastmaster to me, Robert.
Yeah. Toastmaster for magic.
That's what it is. It's Toastmaster for magic.
It's funny. I heard about Toastmasters because of one of my magic clubs.
Oh, nice.
I haven't been to a Toastmasters meeting, but I remember someone was telling me about Toastmasters in the magic club that I was in. They were like, oh, like this will help you in terms of like public speaking and all that stuff. So
I've done that. I've done that was when I was in UF, and then I did it in Santa Monica as well. So it's definitely a different feel, because you can obviously with magic you plan stuff, things like that. Different from improv, because improv you have to do it on the spot. So at least with Toastmasters you can plan, prep, and then you have different judges who judge you different areas of your speech, and so which is good, because those are the kind of feedbacks you'll probably need in order to get better anyway. And so I'm not sure, like for you probably would kill it because you're a good storyteller, and because you have to be as a magician. So, and you're a natural storyteller in that piece of that. So, but I'm not sure. So now in your magic club, do they do that for you? Like you perform a little trick and they give you a little feedback based on certain things that they see? I'm just curious.
Not really. It's really up to everyone's discretion if they want to go up to like after the meeting is over and like give you some tips and stuff. Yeah, so it's really just we don't really take each other too seriously in terms of like the skill. To be completely honest, I hope no one hears this from my magic club or from magic.
The skill set varies, right? The skill set varies. That's what it is.
The skill set varies, but like what I'm trying to say is like most magic clubs, they consist of like older guys that are not really professionals or more like hobbyists. So
Got it.
you know, they're into magic. They love magic. They've been into magic since, you know, for a very long time,
They do
but
it for fun.
they don't really practice it. They do it for fun. Yeah. So
all
they're more
amateurs,
hobbyists.
It's all amateurs. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay.
For the most part, every now and then, you know, they'll be like, for example, the magic club that I grew up going to, like when I first started going to Club Mágico Miami, the Hispanic magic club.
Yep.
There was this magician, he passed away a couple years ago, but his name was Fantasio.
Mm-hmm.
And he would go to these meetings, and Fantasio was like a living legend in magic. Like you could go across the world in different like magic clubs or magic communities or whatever around the world, and they would know who Fantasio is. Like he invented a lot of like really useful magic props. Like he was a famous magician. He was from Argentina, and then he moved to Miami, you know, later on in his life when he retired. And he was great. He was the nicest guy too, super humble. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, like the people that you meet at these random clubs, and I just happened to start in this magic club with you know, a living legend. So it was really cool getting to experience that.
Gotcha.
There's also like actually, like you were joking around with this, actually like exclusive magic clubs, right? Like
probably are, right?
Like the Magic Castle type of thing.
Yeah.
Like only the top, or that you have to be invited to join or whatever. Right?
Yeah. That's more. That is true, but that's more for like, you know, that's more for the whole story side of it, because you know people hear like, oh, it's an exclusive magic club, and it is, but and I've never been to the Magic Castle, but like, you know, for example, if there's this thing called IBM and International Brotherhood of Magicians. If I'm a member of that, if I'm a member of that, and I was, because I was in that magic club in Miami, if I'm a member of that, then I can go to the Magic Castle. I don't need like an invitation, you know? So yeah, to a certain extent, it is exclusive, but it's not super like, you know, hey.
I thought it was like hush hush, like no one comes in or out without the approval of the membership, all this stuff. Yeah.
No, it's more of a fun venue. It is they are strict about like a lot of different things. Like they're strict about dress code. If you're wearing jeans, they won't let you in.
So this IBM thing, right? Random question. So like, what is the requirement for them to approve you?
There's not really a requirement. I think you just have to prove that you're into magic for you to become a member.
Oh, you can become a lifetime for $1,200. That's not bad.
Oh, are you searching it up?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. So so there's two, at least in well, IBM technically is international, but there's a couple, but the two most prominent ones in the US are IBM and then SAM. Society of American Magicians. Got it. And SAM was started by Harry Houdini, actually.
Oh wow! So it goes way back.
Yeah, it goes way back. Yeah, and IBM also goes way back.
So
but they're both like prominent ones in the US.
That's pretty cool. So it's kind of like the international group. So, and I guess it sounds like everybody joins this just because it helps networking, right? It promotes a little.
Pretty much.
So it has a little its own perks and benefits. So
yeah.
Let's take a step back for a second. So something make you fall in love with magic, right? What was it like? What was the first trick that make you fall in love with it? Or did your dad take you to a show or something? Like, what was the first trick that you fell in love with? Oh, I'm gonna want to learn how to do magic. Or was it a specific magician that you fell in love with?
Yeah. So before I started magic, like I started around 11 years old, but before that, I was always into magic. I always loved it. And one of the first experiences that I had, like seeing magic for the first time, was by this magician named George Iglesias. Okay. It was in Miami. He came to my house because there was like this weird Hispanic TV show where they would renovate like parts of your house. Kind of like, you know, like those TV shows where they renovate like whole homes. Yeah. This one was like in this local like network, and they would renovate so they renovated my office at my house when I was like 7.
Was this in Univision or something like that?
I think it was in Univision. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe Telemundo.
Telemundo, yeah.
It was one. Yeah. So
That's pretty cool though. They came to your house and just renovated.
So they came to my house. They renovated the office, right?
Okay, the office, yeah.
It was really funny. So I vaguely remember this. I was really little. I don't remember too much. But
for free,
one
right?
of their segments. What was that?
Also for free?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think my parents had to pay anything, or I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how they got themselves into that.
Okay.
But yeah, they do some sketchy stuff. My parents. I mean, I'm kidding. They're great. Anyways,
yeah.
One of the segments of the TV show was they would have this magician do like a trick.
Mm-hmm.
Like every TV show, they would have George Iglesias do a trick, and he did a trick that I didn't get to see. I never saw the trick, but I heard from the reactions and from like everyone else that saw the trick that he made water float in the air.
Oh my
right?
God.
What?
He made water float in the air. Like
Danny, you need to go find the tape and pull that back out.
Yes, you need to
I
find
know. I
the
have to
tape.
find that. And the funny thing is that I don't think he did that. I don't think that's the trick he did on camera. That was just a trick he did it off camera to just casually to people. Yeah, at my house. So, but I didn't see the trick, but I heard everyone's reaction, and I heard people tell me that same thing that I just told you guys. He made water float in midair. And in my mind, all these years, I didn't realize it, but in my mind, I thought I had seen it actually happen. I thought I saw the water float in midair, but it's just what my mind made up. Right. So I saw, right. Yeah. So I wasn't there, but I saw in my mind, I imagined water like physically floating in the air. Right. So that's what I thought I saw. I never ended up seeing it. And that's not what happened at all. Right. So what the trick years later, I learned, oh, this is a trick he did because like, it's just a trick he did. Like, I remember like what it involved. It's just it was a water bottle. Right. And then he went like that and he poured water, it was real. And then he went like this, whatever, magic. And the water stopped from flowing. Right. So he made the water like stop flowing from the water bottle.
Going down.
That's what he did. Yeah.
Oh.
It was the water was still in the water bottle, and then he got like a toothpick, and then he put the toothpick inside, to make sure to show that there was there's actually a hole in the water bottle.
Yeah, it wasn't clogged or anything like that. Okay.
It was yeah. So that's the trick he did. But to me, it was so impactful because like even though I didn't see it, in my brain made up this like story.
That's pretty cool.
That he made water flow in midair because of what everyone else saw. So, and I want to sort of refer that back to your first question that you asked, is magic real? And I think it is, but it exists in our minds. Magic, literally speaking, is not real. I don't claim to have special powers, but if I can provide an experience for someone,
when they say they have powers,
no one has powers,
Okay. Yeah.
And if someone claims they have powers, run away, because they're probably crazy and they're gonna rob you or something. I don't know. They're gonna scam you. But it's just the experience that you provide to someone that makes them think that magic, like any experience where like someone says like, oh snap, like I just saw real magic.
Yeah.
That's what magic is, Yeah. So magic is real. It just exists in our minds.
That's pretty cool. The illusion of it, that I guess that imagination, that piece of it.
Right.
Listen, I believe magic is real, to be honest. At least from my things, So, I mean, I like to think that there are powers above our understanding. It's not because we probably haven't dived into it, right? And because we don't understand it. That's probably why. But I do think that, but eventually once we understand it, then we realize, okay, this is how it works. Then that magical illusion, it fades away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I think magic's real. That's, because.
Yeah. You gotta keep mystery in your life. I think that's super important. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also what he was saying. Like, it's in your mind, right? Like, it's just because you don't understand it yet that it's a mystery.
That's true. All right,
sometimes it's better to not understand things. Like,
that's so true. That is so true. Because you like
to keep that illusion in your mind.
I've watched a lot of magic, and then I'll later on go and be like, how did they do this trick? And I like look up how they do it, and then once I find out, I'm like, it doesn't take away, because I'm still like, it's amazing that they thought up this way to do it. But it was like, but it's like, now I know how it's done, and it doesn't impress me anymore. So then having that
Yeah.
mystery of not knowing how it's done, like keeps that that magic
Suspense.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think it's so important to keep the mystery alive, because I forgot where I forgot where I heard this from, but someone made a very good analogy in terms of like magic, like for the people that you know are sort of skeptics, like they don't care about magic because they know it's fake, like they don't enjoy magic because
Yeah.
they're constantly trying to figure out how the trick works.
Mhm.
And this is what I heard, like you don't go to see the movie Avatar and you're like, hey, that was a good movie, but those blue people, they're not real.
That's
You
real.
see it and you know you're immersed in this movie. You're like, oh yeah, that's amazing. And like, you know, for those 2 hours, you believe that there's this world, there's this
Yeah.
Pandora, and the blue people exist in it.
Mhm.
Same thing with magic. You know, you have to just submit yourself
Yeah.
to enjoy it and not constantly try to figure out like how the trick works. Like just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. But
I
I do
find-
want to.
I find trying to find out how it's done is like very enjoyable also though.
Yeah. Oh, that's the reason I got started. I wanted to know how it was done.
Yeah.
So of course it's very enjoyable, you know, having that knowledge of how tricks are done.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I mean, I'm really curious to find out how some people just flies in the air, because that just throws me off a lot. So I am very curious to see how it's done, because from an engineering standpoint, I'm like, holy shit, I really want to figure this out.
yeah, yeah. You'll be disappointed
Oh, really?
if you find out. Yeah, you'll be disappointed most of the time.
Hey, Danny, I'm gonna go to the Magic Conference with you next year. I'm telling you right now. Okay, right?
Of course. I'll show you
learn
around. Yeah, you'll learn a bunch of tricks. You'll learn all the secrets.
Yeah.
The ones
So-
that I find the most interesting are the ones where they're like predicting people's behaviors or whatever, like the mentalism type of stuff. Because I'm like, this is a different trick than what I can like figure out. Like they've done some other research to like
A little bit of psychology behind
yeah,
that.
done some psychology and some
Yeah.
stuff that I don't know. Whereas like the card tricks and like that stuff, like I can in my head see how things kind of
Could be.
happened. But like the mentalism ones, I'm just like, all right, I don't know. Like I give up. I don't know how do they even like do that?
All right, Danny. So so you have a magician that inspire you? I'm just wondering. You have like, I'm just curious. Like for example, let's say Dumbledore or something. You know, just wondering. like-
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of magicians, mostly like just known in like the magic community.
Okay.
That are like famous in the magic community that have inspired me a lot.
Mhm.
But I think like one of my biggest inspirations, especially when I first started out, was David Blaine, because I would watch his specials and I'd be like, wow, I want to do that. So yeah, David Blaine was definitely one of my biggest inspirations.
Actually, can you tell the story how you met him? I think that would be cool.
Yeah,
met-
that's
you
literally
met
the
David
object that
Blaine?
I had set aside for
Yeah.
the
Oh,
story
okay.
time.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to save it for then or you want me to do it now.
You can tell the story how you met him, just from a brief story, just from that part of it. Yeah.
Brief story, and then I'll
Okay.
show the
There you
thing
go.
later.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like I was probably 17 years old, and it was just at an airport. I didn't expect to meet anyone famous, especially not like my idol growing up.
Wow.
And I was just sitting down waiting to board the flight, and then they call first class for the flight, and then I was just on my phone and I look up and I'm like, is that David Blaine? And I was like, nah, there's no way. But then like I look up again, I had to do a double take. I look up and I'm like, oh my god, that's David Blaine. So I sort of like creep up to him, and I'm like my parents are sitting next to me. I'm like, Mom, Dad, it's fucking David. Sorry, can I curse? Whoops.
Yeah.
You
that's
can
fine.
curse. It's fine.
I can curse. Okay, thank you. Mom, it's David Blaine. And they're like, oh my god, no way. So
The reaction was
whatever,
like, oh my God.
What a reaction.
What a reaction.
no, they didn't react like that. They were freaking out too. But
Also, they knew who they were.
yeah,
They knew who he
yeah,
was,
they knew.
okay.
They've seen the specials with me.
Okay.
But the funny part is that David Blaine was like incognito mode. He had black cap, sunglasses, black t-shirt, black pants on,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
He was all black. So you can even tell. And the funny thing is that everyone surrounding him was not paying any attention to him. Like I literally went up to this guy, like super like awkward, like, hey, David, is that you? I started fangirling, and no one around, like no one at the airport knew who he was. Everyone was just looking at us like, who is this kid going up to this random guy? Like, is this guy famous? I don't know. So yeah, basically I had met David Blaine, and then I can tell the whole story later.
Okay. Could you tell based on his goatee? Is that how you figured out it was him?
No, I've actually studied his face for many years. No, I'm kidding. I stalk him. No, I could just tell, like I recognized him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that gave it away was he was playing with cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was playing with a deck of cards. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's got to be David Blaine.
No one plays with deck of cards randomly in the airport by himself, right?
Right. Yeah. No one that looks like David Blaine plays with decks of cards at the airport.
Yeah.
It's just David Blaine.
Man, those David Blaine impersonators, when they that's what they gotta do. They gotta go to airport, just like be shuffling cards, playing with stuff.
And then kids like me will go up to them.
Yeah.
So Danny, as you were, I guess I'm very curious about this question. So like, as you were growing up, you were trying to learn different tricks, different things, trying to hone your tools, your skills, right? Did you realize there are different type of magic out there? If so, how did it broken down? And then how did you decide to go to which part you want to learn stuff? Like, you can learn a little bit more about card tricks. You can learn about, like, I don't know, I guess
stage
how
magic and
stage magic. Yeah. So I guess I don't know what is a different type of magic out there. First of all, can you elaborate that a little bit more? So
yeah. So, there's two categories.
Yep.
Classified by, so like there's magic competitions apart from like conferences. There's also magic competitions that also happen at these conferences, and the biggest one that there is FISM, right? It's something in French, Fédération Internationale. It's called FISM. Okay. It's basically considered like the Olympics of magic, right? It happens every 3 years in a different country. It's like the biggest magic competition. It's very, it's very prominent. So they categorize magic in two separate categories: stage and close-up. Okay. And within those categories, they have like subcategories. And then that's when you sort of dive into like the different types of magic that there are. So there's like, card magic, there's mentalism, mind reading, like Robert was saying. Okay. There's let's see, I wrote this down actually. There's manipulation, like stuff with your hands, like manipulation. There's comedy magic, there's like large scale illusions that these like illusionists do. There's quick change magic where you change your outfit really fast.
That's right. Yeah.
So to be honest, there's endless types of magic if you want to look at it that way.
I guess the subcategories, it looks like it can branch out in more detail.
Yeah, there's different styles and approaches you can take, but at its core, there's only like I forgot how many, but there's a set of like 6 or 7, I think, different effects in magic that you can do. Like different things like categorized as magic.
Yep.
Levitation, disappearing, appearing, transposition, where something like switch places. So there's like a set of like tricks, and they all sort of fall into whatever category you want. So like, if I do a card trick and I figure out what your card is, that's more mentalism. But if I take a card and I make it disappear, that's disappearing. So like it's even though it's still a card trick, both are still card tricks. They're different effects,
Okay,
got it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So now what is Danny's specialty type of magic?
Oh man, I don't know.
Specialized.
I don't know, man.
Like, do you do a little bit of everything? I'm just curious. Do you do a little bit of everything, or are you still trying to fine tune it as you grow your skill set?
So yeah, I think what I've been focusing on for a while now, and what I want to continue focusing on, is more like comedy magic, like mixing magic and comedy together, and also just anything that, whether it's doesn't, I mean, as long as I like the trick, as long as like as long as I like it, and I think the audience will like it, then yeah, I don't really have like a specialty. something that I was really into when I was about 15 or 16 was manipulation. So I would I competed at one of the IBM conventions in 2015.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah. And I did a manipulation act on stage. So I would do like stuff with not basically card tricks, but not card tricks where like I pick your card. Like no one picked a card in this routine. I basically made cards like disappear, appear, like sort of doing like stuff with cards in your hands.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think I knew FISM based on like there was an Eric Chen like video that came out a couple years ago, and he made cards disappear and turn into coins and do all kinds. And I was like, this is that type of magic that's like amazing.
Oh, was that the guy on American Got Talent?
He was also there. Yeah.
He was also there. Yeah. So it's really funny because Eric Chen, he won FISM. Like he won. In FISM, there's probably 150 competitors.
Yeah.
Right, and they narrow them down to like within their subcategories.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 grand winners in all of FISM. There's one for stage and one for close up. Right, 2 Grand Prix winners. Yeah. Eric Chen won the close up championship at FISM, and then right after he did America's Got Talent, which is so funny.
And he blew up.
So I saw the FISM. I saw the FISM video, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is an amazing trick!" It was just so sick. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
That's the
crazy,
type of magic where you just like look at it and you're like, "These guys are so good at what they do."
And you, I guess for me, I would never want to figure out how it's done because it would ruin the magic for me. See?
Yeah.
Like there's some things I'd rather not know.
I don't know how Eric Chen does half the things in his act. Like
even you don't even know.
His stuff. Wow. His stuff looks like CGI.
Yeah.
Like I guess that could be like another category of magic. Stuff that is so visual that it looks like a computer generated effect.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's real. It's all, happening right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I was watching that. I was like, man, this is what magic is to me. This is
all right.
The epitome.
So let me ask. So Danny, speaking of magic, so what do you guys us for today? You have a trick or two for us today?
I got a couple. Yeah, I got a couple. So I don't know if I'm allowed to do this one, just because I know your podcast is called gluten free.
Yeah.
So like I do have some gluten here in my hands.
Oh.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'll
We're
just
okay with it.
I'm sorry to even show this on camera.
Oh my god, he just pulled out a loaf of bread out of his hand, guys.
Yeah.
For those listening and watching, y'all should switch over to the YouTube video.
I know, seriously,
my dinner tonight.
Yeah, for those who are listening, just switch to YouTube, watch this whole podcast again.
Yeah.
So check this out. I'll do something. I'll do something with some cards. Let me pan down the camera real quick.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll do something with. Hopefully, you guys can see that.
Yeah, I see it.
You guys see that?
Yep.
A little. There you go. I'll do something with a couple. Actually, I don't need this many cards. I just need one.
Oh.
I just need this one. Yeah, that's all. That's the only one I need.
Okay.
And I'll show you why. I'll show you why I just need one. So it's kind of weird doing magic on camera.
Yep.
Because like I was saying before, like some things look like CGI.
Yeah.
And what you're about to see will look a little bit like CGI.
Yep.
But it's all real. Watch the
real?
Sharpie.
Okay.
And watch the card.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh no! Wait. The Sharpie's going through the card.
Wait, what? How's it possible?
How? No. What in the world?
What? Is that a trick card? No, it's not. So he's moving the marker around the card.
And
then there's no hole in it.
Weird, right?
He put the marker through the card and moved it around the inside of the card.
What?
And took it out, and there's no hole in the card. This is something. If we were in person, would we see the same effect?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
my god,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that
is. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say about that.
See, when Robert's speechless, that's good because he he tends to figure things out a little bit faster than I do.
Okay.
I have no idea how that's done.
So look, I'll do something else that will look like CGI.
Yeah.
And then I'll sort of switch over to I want to sort of involve you guys a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll show you what I mean. But first I want to show you this one. You guys have seen one of these before, right? Rubik's Cube.
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
So I've always been so fascinated by its ability to attract women. I'm kidding. No, it does not do that.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. It does not do that.
Like, you have a better way with the Rubik's Cube than I do.
It does quite the opposite. No, it does quite the opposite. But I've never been able to solve them before. In fact, the closest I've gone is two squares. That's it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna see if I can try this out. Hopefully this will work out. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Pretty mixed up, right?
Yep.
I don't know how many moves it'll take, but I think if I'm just go like that, watch the Rubik's Cube. When I snap my fingers like this, watch.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, what?
It actually becomes solved now.
He solved it. He solved it within a second. With
That was like a split of a second. That was like a split of a second.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's crazy.
Sweet. Thank you guys.
Is that how you impress the ladies? Hey, ladies.
Yeah.
Check this out, you know.
Check out this Rubik's Cube while I pick up my snot.
You know that there's like YouTube channels where guys go out into the street and do magic tricks, like close up magic like that.
Yeah.
And they always have all these like girls on there. I don't know how many numbers they get, but that's the whole channel.
So you don't, Robert, you don't think they're assistants though? Like they gotta have some kind of assistant though.
They're all different girls every time, so it's possible. But I feel like with magic, you don't have to have assistants all the time. Like there's some tricks that you just do, and they're just impressive, right? And then I think
like Danny, is that true? I'm just wondering from your perspective.
No, so assistance has just been a thing that we've been sort of like taught to know that all magicians have their assistant. That's not necessarily true.
Okay.
That's just the social construct.
Got it.
No, but for example, like the stage illusionists, like they typically have assistants because like they're dealing with large illusions, large props on stage.
Yeah.
So like for example, if the magician gets in a box, or if his assistant gets in a box, he needs his other assistant to hand him a big sword and put the sword through the box, or whatever the illusion is. Typically when it's like large scale illusions like that, it involves one or more assistants.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I wanna try something out. Let's see. Robert, we literally just met, right? We've never met before. We haven't predetermined anything at all, correct?
Yeah, it's been about an hour since we've met. Yeah.
Yeah.
Less than that.
Right, less than that. So check this out. I have this notepad here, and it's blank, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to just think of any two-digit number you want.
Okay.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Don't say it, just think of it. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I think I got it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I got it. Robert, for the first time, what was the two-digit number that you're thinking of?
72.
72.
Yeah.
And no way.
No way.
Robert, there's no way that I could have known this, right? There's no way I could have known this.
He just wrote it. He just wrote it.
We didn't prearrange anything at all.
I just
correct?
randomly chose a number, and
You randomly chose a number.
Yeah.
The one number that I have written down is, in fact, I don't know if you can see that, but 72.
72.
Oh my god. What the heck?
How? How's that
Let me
possible?
see if I can hold on. Let me see if I can
You can zoom in a little bit about it, yeah.
do that. There we go.
Oh. Yeah.
There we go.
72.
But I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, maybe I've been mentioning the number 72 throughout the podcast. Maybe I sort of, use some psychology, like you were saying before, to influence you to think of 72 off the top of your head, right? Maybe, perhaps.
It's possibly a force. Yeah, it's possibly a force.
Right, maybe. But let's try this out. I want you to think of if you want to stick with the same number, you can. But if you want to, you can change your mind. Just name, and you don't have to like. You just name any 2-digit number, but really think about it. Name any 2-digit number you want. But really think about it, okay?
Okay.
I don't want you to think that I'm sort of forcing any number on you. You could really name whatever number you want.
Okay.
Go ahead.
22.
22. You sure?
Yeah, 22.
Okay. I actually I have a list of groceries on my phone. I'm gonna go to my notes app and show you the notes. Do you see the groceries right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
groceries.
gonna scroll down to 22. Oops. I'm gonna scroll down. Oops.
Okay.
Sorry. I haven't typed anything. I'm just gonna scroll down to 22.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh wait. Hold on, something. Let's try this again, because for some reason my phone glitched out. I don't want you to think that I'm doing anything. Name any other number.
All right. Let me think again. Let me rethink. 33.
Let's try this out. Sorry, before you mention anything, I don't know if you guys have noticed throughout the show,
question
but
mark? Yeah.
I have had this bag there the whole
There's
time.
a bag with
right?
a question mark in it. Yeah.
Right. This next number that you say will determine the outcome of what's in that bag.
What?
So
Okay.
think about this number. Go ahead. Would you say
Um,
33, or do you want to change that?
I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go 47.
47.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, where are my notes at? Let's go to groceries. All right. Do you see
47.
Yeah, 47. I see that. I see 47.
Budweiser. That's
what
it
is
says.
47?
It says Budweiser.
What is it? Budweiser?
Yeah.
Budweiser, right? If you would have chosen 46, you would have said dishwasher tablets, 48 popsicles. If you would have said 22, if you would have stuck with the number 22, you would have gotten tuna steak. If you would have said what was the previous one, 33, right? Is that what you said? You would have gotten corn. If you would have kept your previous number, the one that you wrote down, the one that I wrote down on the paper, 72, it would have been honey. But no, you said 47, which is
47.
Budweiser.
Okay.
How can you fit all that stuff inside of this bag? I don't understand.
There's nothing in it though. It could be empty.
The one thing inside this bag, you're not going to believe this. The one thing inside this bag. Oh, shit. Okay. You sure you didn't pick ketchup?
What number was ketchup on that list?
I don't know. But you know what? I'm sorry. I messed up the trick, but you said Budweiser. You picked Budweiser, right?
Yeah, Budweiser, yeah.
Watch the ketchup.
Can you still get
I'm
me
going to
a
go back
Budweiser?
inside the bag. I'm going to go back inside the bag. Put the ketchup inside. When I snap my fingers, the ketchup turns into Budweiser.
Wow.
And you might be thinking, no, there's nothing inside the bag. It's just the Budweiser. It's just the Budweiser,
crumpled
guys.
up the bag.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's just the Budweiser.
All right.
Okay, all right.
I'm glad you switched it to Budweiser, because that's what I was really aiming for.
Right. You don't want ketchup.
Yeah. Who's gonna drink ketchup? Yeah. Can't do it.
All right, Danny. That was amazing.
That's amazing.
That was okay. Robert's impressed. He still doesn't know. Even though he messed up picking numbers, he still what?
I know. I want to see what the tuna steak would have been.
Me too.
How you gonna
Just pull out a whole tuna. Just a whole tuna. I just caught this, guys. Before the podcast, I went fishing and I caught a tuna.
Just in case, he put it in a bag.
Yeah, put it in the bag. It's been out of the refrigerator, so this whole room is super smelly right now. But I did it just for you guys. Just for the
everything on that
organic
list is somewhere in the room.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. Okay, I'll give you that one. Okay, I haven't seen that one before, Danny. So that's pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you, guys.
No, appreciate that for showing us that. All right, Danny. So I want to be able to kind of wrap up this episode with a little bit of words of wisdom, right? So if you were to encourage somebody who wants to learn magic, what is something that you think that they should focus on? Just wondering, what would that be?
If they want to learn magic?
Yeah.
I would say just keep going. I feel like that's the generic advice.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just says, "Oh, work hard, practice, keep doing that." those things are all true.
Yeah.
But I would say above that, I would say like in terms of magic, allow yourself to be a kid again. You know,
Okay.
at least when you're watching magic, from from another magician or from a magic show, allow yourself to be a kid again. Let your guard down. Like I was saying before, like just just enjoy it. And in terms of someone that wants to get into magic, I think the biggest advice that I hear all the time, and it's very true, is quality over quantity. At the very beginning, you're gonna want to learn like 100 magic tricks, and you will learn 100 magic tricks, and you will learn more than that. And a lot of those magic tricks you'll forget. So I think it's really important to just practice, practice the specific tricks that you like. Like instead of learning a whole bunch of tricks, you're never going to be great at those tricks if you practice. It's sort of like that quote, like the 10,000, when you practice something 10,000 times. Yeah, 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't need magic. Like you don't need to buy magic, because I remember when I first started out, I would buy so much magic all the time. I wanted to learn new tricks, so I would go on wherever, eBay or just different online magic shops, and I would buy magic. You'd spend a lot of money buying magic, and you don't need that. You don't need that, because the magic isn't what's going to make you a good magician. It's you. Like, people don't care about the tricks. People care about the magician, the performer.
Yeah.
So it's all about the performance and not the trick.
Have you heard of this guy, JIBRIZY? I think he was also on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
His whole story is like, I grew up poor, so I didn't have any money to buy tricks, so I just did magic with whatever was around me. And so all his tricks are like with just whatever objects are normal, everyday objects that you can find around you. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, JIBRIZY has built a pretty large online following with his magic. However, the one thing I will say is that he's gotten a lot of backlash from
Danny, did you freeze?
Oh,
no, technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
We'll have him back in a second.
All right, yeah, we'll get him right on back.
Yeah.
Michael, what's your favorite magician that you watch? Do you have a favorite magician?
I've seen David Blaine a lot. So one of the things that we hit with David Blaine, it's just very unique, right? He does a different. Oh, there you go. We have Danny back.
Danny's back.
Yeah.
I think he's connecting the audio.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. All right.
I'm so sorry. My whole Zoom just crashed. It just closed. I don't know what happened there.
It can't handle the magic,
Can't handle.
So thanks for having me, guys. I'm so excited to start this podcast all over again.
Introducing Danny H, everybody.
So I have this Rubik's Cube. Oh, it's already solved. It's already solved.
Oh man. Yeah. So Danny, I just asked Michael what his what's like magicians that he's followed, and like who he likes, like what kind of magic.
I don't know. Like for me, like I don't have a specific type, right? And you mentioned David Blaine. I follow a lot of his show before, and so his magic has evolved throughout. Obviously, as he's gotten older, and he aged very well, like his magic stuff. So that leads to my next question, Danny. I know that you go to magic conferences and stuff, like and you learn and meet different magicians, stuff like that. Where do you see magic going? I'm just wondering, like in terms of trend wise, in the next 5-10 years, like.
So it's really interesting because technology is a big thing that's evolving very quickly, and even though magic is still very much an art form, it's still a performing art. I think technology and magic are sort of clashing a little bit. A lot of magicians are using it to their advantage because they're using technology to enhance their magic in a way, in a good way. But as technology continues advancing more and more, magic tricks will become less impressive because the audience, you know, the lay person will just think, oh, that magician is just using technology, or that magician is using, you know, this kind of technology to accomplish this trick. So it's sort of a challenge when technology continues to evolve and to become better, because magicians have to continue evolving and, you know, try to like sort of cancel out.
Yeah. So you have to like figure out a way to make it seem like it's not a like trick or like a
technology thing. Yeah.
Trick. It's like when it's like when I asked like if that trick, if it was in real life, would I see the same effect? Right.
Because
in my head I'm
and
like,
that's why like that's the problem with doing magic. I think that magic should only be performed live and in person. That's the only way to get the best effect.
Yeah.
The full effect. But you know, especially because of the pandemic, a lot of magicians have sort of taken it upon themselves to do these virtual magic shows, and they've sort of switched over to doing just virtual magic, and they've become very successful at it. It's still a thing. Like it's a thing that magicians are doing, and it's good. Like they've sort of
it kind of keeps the spark
customize. Yeah, and they sort of customize their act to tailor to virtual magic. That way, like a lot of the tricks that magicians are doing virtually is they'll do tricks that involve the people at home. Like the people at home would be taking cards and doing instructions with these cards, and then, you know, everyone will have the same card at the end, something like that. So I think that's a great way of doing, because it's virtual. There's no way getting people engaged in the virtual show. But there's also like there's also a big con with that, because, you know, I like I said before, I think magic should only be experienced live. That's the only way to get the full effect. And social media has sort of changed a lot of that. There's a lot of, you know, you were saying, Robert, JIBRIZY, there's a lot of these social media magicians that are gaining a big following on social media. And to an extent, it's sort of hurting magic, because they're doing these tricks not for the people that they're doing it for the camera. So a lot of the time the people will be exposed to the secret, and then they'll be taught to react a certain way. They'll be like, oh, like when I do this, you're gonna go crazy. It's more about like the virality of the content that they care about, as opposed to the magic trick. And that's what I was saying about JIBRIZY before Zoom crashed. Not to hate, but JIBRIZY has gotten a lot of backlash from the magic community because he does that. A lot of his videos involve him going up to random people and being like, hey, I want you, like, you're gonna see exactly how this trick works because you're behind me and we're doing it for the camera. But I want you to go crazy, and I want you to, he's teaching these people how to react. He's like staging them. You know,
it's a stage. I think like expectation. That's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, it's like a stage reactions, which is not
staged reactions.
It's not as authentic.
You don't want that. You know, it's like the same thing. Like when you watch what's it called, like a sitcom show live, they say applause, or they say laugh really hard. You know, and you don't want that.
You don't want that. Yeah,
that's what you're saying, though.
So yeah, I see magic. Magic has really become popular on social media, especially in this last year.
But I feel like that kept the spark alive due to the pandemic.
Absolutely,
it may have, you know, magicians were able to adapt to virtually a little bit and then somehow keep people engaged nicely. But to your point, though, I think to get the full effect of it is better in person. 100%. Like that's 100%. I completely agree.
I agree with that, but I also was involved. Like my company had a magician tailor a show for like all of the employees, and so it was like a Zoom conference, and like the guy came on, did all his stuff, and that show was amazing. Just even
can I ask you who it was? Remember the name or what he looked like?
I don't remember. Hold on, let me get the box. Maybe it's on the box.
Yeah, please do. I'm super interested because there's been there's been a handful of magicians that have sort of taken over this like virtual realm of of offering their shows. Oh, is that Dan White?
Dan White, yeah, Dan
Dan White, yeah. I recognize it from the box. Yeah. Dan White, yeah.
This show
Big
was
shout out to Dan White.
This
I
show
love
is
Dan
so
White.
good. Like
Yeah.
I watched it. There was a point where like somebody like they're like, oh, I want you to experience like what it's like to have like a balloon when you're like young, right? So then somebody, one of the employees, he like picked them out and told them to go to their door, and there was a balloon on her door, like that's fucking weird, right? Like what the hell happened? And then yeah, and then like it turned, and then at the end it was like there's such a twist at the end. It was like crazy. The whole show was amazing. I thought it was so good. Yeah.
So Dan White is incredible. I haven't seen his virtual show, but I've heard so many good things about it, and like I recognize the box immediately because what's interesting about what I was talking about before is that to make it more engaging, these magicians that are doing virtual shows, they'll ship out a box to people and they'll be like, hey, don't open this until I instruct you to, like during the show. There's secret stuff in here, so that just makes it more engaging, more interactive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's super cool. I haven't seen Dan White's virtual show, but I saw him live. He has a show in New York City called The Magician, the same thing. And I was able to see it live, and it was incredible. It was amazing. Dan White's probably one of the best magicians working right now.
Nice. I can't wait to see him live. I heard about him, but I've never seen any of his show before. So
you have to, Mike. Next time you're in New York, you have to go see his show.
All right, I'm definitely.
I mean, based on just that show that I had online, I would totally go see his live show too, because
his live show is
so
nuts,
good.
And I saw it a long time ago, so like it's probably changed for the better now. So.
All right, well, Danny, we don't want to take too much of your time, so we're gonna try to wrap up this episode with our funny MSG session. Do you have anything funny you want to share with us? It doesn't have to be funny, I guess, or it could be any stories.
You have that thing from David Blaine that you're gonna show us.
Oh yeah. So when I met David Blaine at the airport, the cards that I talked about that he was playing with in his hand, he gave them to me.
Oh,
nice.
He gave them to me, and it's not just a regular deck of like bicycle cards. No, this is his logo, ABC. Okay. ABC produced like one of his specials that he aired recently, and that's like the David Blaine logo. So this is his deck of cards, and when he handed it to me, he told me like, "Hey, it's actually like I produced this deck. Like it's actually super rare. Like I'm never gonna release these to the public.
Wow.
So this is like a super like rare deck of cards." And then the great part about this story is that after I met him at the airport, like in line while he was about to board the plane, he asked me before he boarded the plane. He asked me for my seat number. Right. And 45 minutes into the flight, he gets out of his seat in first class. He comes to where I am and my parents are at, and he starts talking to me, giving me advice in the middle of the aisle while the plane is flying. And then he signs one of the cards for me.
Wow.
Nice. And then I tell him a little bit about myself, and he's like, "Oh, I'd love to check out one of your clips or whatever. Take down my email." So I take down David Blaine's email, and I email him that night when I get back home. It's like, "Hey, it was nice meeting you. Bye." and then he emails me back like 10 minutes later. He's like, "Call me tomorrow," and he puts his phone number.
Oh.
So the next day, and I know this all sounds like a weird fever dream. This actually happened. This is all true. The next day, I was like super anxious. I did not sleep that night. I call him. He didn't respond. And I call him with my dad's phone on voice memos about to record the conversation because I just want to record this random phone call with David Blaine, thinking that it was just going to stop there at that random phone call. Anyways, he doesn't respond the phone. He calls me back like hours later, and he's like, "Hey, Danny, like my flight's going to leave soon. Do you want to hang out?" And at the time, I didn't drive. So my dad drops what he's doing. He drives me like an hour away. He was staying at Ball Harbor in Miami. So that's like an hour, and with traffic too. My dad was just swerving through the streets trying to get me to David Blaine.
Wow.
So I meet David Blaine. He invites me to, like, I think he was staying at this random penthouse in Ball Harbor. I go up to the penthouse and we just hang out for like 20-30 minutes. He shows me like videos, like promo videos of his like tour that he did, like his tour with his magic show before it was even announced. So I knew that he was going on like tour before he even announced it. And I got to see the video. So yeah, that was a crazy experience.
Did you show him tricks?
Yeah, I showed him a trick. He even put me on his Snapchat story.
Oh, did he?
That's awesome.
Yeah, he put me on his Snapchat story. He tagged me. He tagged my Snapchat handle. Nice. And like I gained like 100 Snapchat followers.
Wow. That's amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though. That experience, I would be inspired just to keep learning from that point.
Oh man, it was nuts.
Like, like now, like, you know, it's been what, 7-8 years later, and now you probably know Magic better now. You probably can show him better tricks. Just to see how impressed he is, or maybe he's like, oh, this kid made a disappointment in me, maybe perhaps. I don't know, just his reaction. This is his reaction again. Once you know?
I mean, but they're buddies. You have his number and everything.
That's true. They're buddies now, you know.
Well, it's not like that. It's not like that. I remember texting him like years after that. He never responded. So.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but, think about all the fans though that he meets, right? So.
Yeah. So but it was like, no, he definitely impacted. Like that was a very impactful experience, you know.
Well, that made a positive experience for you for sure. Like it's just that, like he didn't have to do any of that at all.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to, which surprised me. Like I didn't expect David Blaine to be that nice.
Yeah.
Like you would see him in his specials, and he's sort of like this this dude with this like sort of stoner persona to him. He doesn't he talks very low, and like he doesn't talk that much. And he was sort of like that in real life, not as much, but he was like the same. He was himself, but he was so nice. He was super friendly, you know, super engaging with me. Like he actually cared about like what I did, and he was giving me really helpful tips in the plane, and it was great, man. It was really awesome.
That was pretty cool. And okay, well, my story doesn't top that, so mine's a funny thing. All right, I'm gonna send over my funny story. It's not a funny story. It's from Reddit, and it's kind of related to your magic trick. You know how you had a magic trick then where you turned $1 into $20. Well, this guy has a bunch of 20s. And somehow it makes it disappear. So watch this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
He made money disappear?
Kind of. You'll see. You'll see what I mean. So I just ping it to the chat. So for those who are listening to us on our Apple Podcasts and not watching us on YouTube, which, by the way, you should watch this whole episode on YouTube.
You definitely should.
It is titled. It is titled. Next time you show up, better close up your window. So it's this lady holds up a bunch of $20 bills, right? Shows up, and then some guy just comes in randomly and just grabs her money and just and makes it disappear.
I just saw it. That's funny.
Hold on, my video is still loading.
That's one way to make money disappear for sure.
It's just so random. It happened so fast. Like literally, like some guy just grabbed it, ripped it out of her hand.
She's holding.
Wow.
Oh,
first of all,
dang.
First of all, why would you do that in the middle of the street park, showing all your money? Like
with the window down.
With the window down.
You know?
Oh my god.
She was just vibing. She was feeding herself. Look at all these bags that I just got. I'm gonna roll my window down to get some fresh air. Let me enjoy this fresh air and this cash. Boom.
And it was probably like her rent money or something, man. Let me tell you. I don't know. It's crazy though.
Man,
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money to get stolen.
Yeah. All right, Robert, what do you have for us?
All right. Well, I saw this, and I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but this is at the Orlando airport. There's a statue inspired by dads in the 80s.
Okay.
And I saw this.
Wait, is that a real guy in it?
No, like if you look at it, it looks real. Like this looks real, but it's a statue.
Oh,
wow,
shit.
That's a statue?
That's a statue? Really?
Dude, that's my dad.
That's your dad?
Statue.
The Traveler.
This is the Traveler, yeah.
No, it looks like my dad a little bit.
It looks insanely realistic.
Dude, next time I'm gonna go by there, I'm gonna check it out. That's crazy.
I don't know if this is real or not. Maybe it's just a guy who just fell asleep in there. But
Yeah, this is by the way, this is in Terminal B. No, Terminal. Yeah, it is Terminal B. That's crazy.
we're gonna do some research on this.
Well, between gate 159, 150, 159. That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna check it out next time.
Right, this guy looks so real.
Yeah, that looks very real though. Jeez,
Yeah.
look at the wrinkles in the knees, the muscles. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
And his facial expression too while he's sleeping.
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
Yeah.
Even like how dirty the bottom of his shoe is.
The detail, just
Like the amount of detail they put into that.
It could be a real guy. Who knows?
Yeah.
So in the Fort Lauderdale airport, they have something like that that's similar. They have a statue inside of this glass like casing.
Yeah.
And it's similar to that, and it's a statue. Like I've passed by it.
Well,
bunch of times.
so this guy's from Davie, by the way, the artist. He's from Davie, Florida.
Oh, from Davie? Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the
it
comments,
might be the same guy.
One of the
Same
comments
artist.
says it looks creepy. It looks creepy real in person.
Oh, so
So-
it is real.
So it's possible.
Yeah. All right. All right. Anyway,
Wow.
so we're gonna end up our last segment of this section. We're gonna let our rant, emotions, rage go. So if you guys want to rant, so be it. Let's do it. Let's let it out. Okay.
All
Robert,
right. Who wants to
what's
go
your
first?
rant?
Y'all go first.
All right.
I'm still thinking.
Danny, you go first then. Your rant?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
All right. Well, how do I no, I need to see one of you guys.
Yeah,
how do you
Michael,
guys do
Michael,
it?
you
I'll
go
go
first.
first.
Michael,
Alright.
you go first.
How do you guys rant?
So my rant is this big is that it's kind of related, probably kind of a little bit story related to what we talked about last night and during our dinner after our improv class. So I went to this date last week. Was it last week? Yeah, more than a week ago. I thought it went well. A couple days later, I text her to see how she's doing. I get a one-word reply back. I'm like, okay, cool. So then 2 days later, I forgot to reply back to her. So I said, hey, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to set something else up in a sense. No reply back. Ghosted. I'm like, okay, cool.
Ghosted.
All right.
Okay.
Then 2 days later, I think, today is Wednesday. Yeah. So like literally on Monday, she sends me back, say, hey, blah, blah, she'll be busy. You want to do something, actually today, she's like, want to grab a coffee today? And, I replied back to her, yes. No response back.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Weird.
So why would you kind of set something up and then not follow through, right? In a sense. So I don't know. That's my rant in a sense. Like, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I don't have time to deal with this. So
She doesn't deserve you, Mike.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I don't care as much, but it's just that
Yeah, she doesn't deserve you.
It's still kind of like, I get it, you're busy, right? But if you're trying to, I guess, talk to people, meet people, like, just be straightforward about it. Like, say you're busy, and then.
Did she have did she have her read receipts on so like you could tell if she read it or no?
No, she doesn't have an iPhone. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ugh.
so.
Have you heard of?
Yeah, that's a big red flag already. I'm kidding.
Oh, have you heard of? There's this these two people on Tinder who text back and forth for 3 years.
3 years?
For 3 years, and it went viral, and they went on like Ellen DeGeneres and stuff. Like,
What?
So, here, let me show. I think here I'll send you this link, right? So, it is basically they met on Tinder, and then they just kept the replies are like, hey, and then she sent the reply back like months later saying, sorry, my phone died, and then he
Wait,
sent
months later?
months later, yeah. And then he sent stuff back, and then like months later he'd be like, sorry, I just got out of the shower, and then she sends them back a month later, said, sorry, I was in class. Like, they just did this for 3 years where they just send these messages
Said
back.
sorry. They just kept
so
apologizing.
Yeah,
So
they
wait,
just-
so have they met in person?
so on Ellen they met.
Oh,
On Ellen?
Yeah.
Dude.
Don't tell me they got
what?
married.
No, I don't know. They started dating, or I don't know. They actually went on a date or whatever once they met up on Ellen. But yeah, it's like hilarious.
Super funny.
That is too
that
freaking hilarious.
this couple like Like their whole conversation is just so funny.
That's pretty funny.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wow.
All right. I'm guessing that's your rant, right, Robert?
No, that's not my rant. I was just
Alright.
following up what you had.
I
So
know.
my rant, I don't know. We've had conversations about this before,
Yeah.
but like my rant is, I ordered something from Under Armour, right? And it just
Yep.
comes in like this little tiny bag.
Yep.
They sent a huge box. Like here, let me show you the box.
It's not
And Robert has disappeared, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, and he's back.
Like, they sent this big of a box for
what?
one tiny bag, just a tiny bag inside. It was the bag was probably smaller than my phone. Like
Wow.
it was that small, and they sent a whole box. So I was going out and meeting up with friends. Oh, what it was a mask, right? I bought one of those masks from Under
Okay.
Armour. And all it was one mask, so it's just a little bag. And so I got a message saying that I have a package, and so I went downstairs. I was gonna meet people, and I was like, I think it's a mask. Like it's the only thing that I have coming. So I was like, hey, how big is the package? Maybe I can just take it with me to wherever I'm going, and then come back. And then they showed me this huge box, and I was like, all right, it's too big. I don't know if I can do this. I come back home, and I get it, and it's just a little bag inside. I was like, why even have this huge why have this huge box for this such a small item?
Was there a lot of bubble wrap
No
and protection?
no bubble wrap. This is it, just the box and then a bag
Jesus
inside.
Christ.
There was no bubble wrap. It was
Interesting.
ridiculous.
Interesting.
That's so crazy.
Under
Wow.
Armour, not trying to save the environment at all.
That happens a lot with Amazon too, though. So
That's true.
yeah,
But at least they put bubble wrap to make it like feel like they're trying to protect something.
that's true.
This was just like this is just a little bag in a box, no bubble wrap. Is it?
No bubble
Yeah.
wrap. They just wanted to give the mask some air, some
Yeah.
some space to
Yeah.
breathe.
I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
So how about you, Danny? What is your rant?
So my rant is a little bit similar to Mike's. I had it about a week ago. I had a date, and I got stood up.
You got stood up.
I got stood up.
It happens.
Yeah.
It does happen though. More.
But the funny thing, and that's why I asked you, is like, does she have her red receipts on? Because my date did, and I could tell when she was reading everything,
Wow.
and she stood me up. So there's that. Yeah.
It happens though.
Was it a
Her
blind date?
her name is. I'm kidding.
Was it a blind
It was
date?
not. No, it was not a blind date, but we'd never met before.
Oh.
So kind of. So like, I knew what she looked like. She knew what I looked like.
You think she
So, like-
came in, saw you, and was like, "That doesn't look like the guy I saw."
No,
in the
she was
pictures."
never there. She was never there.
She was never there.
She was never there. I show up at this restaurant. I wait like an hour, and then she texts me like, "Oh, my friend is having car problems. I have to take her to work."
Okay.
And I was like,
Oh.
"Okay, do you want me to stay or should I just go?" And she's like, "Just go." And then
Oh.
yeah, and I was like, "Okay, so what's the plan now? Do you want me to help you like with your friend's car? Like, do you want
Yeah.
to just do something else?"
Mhm.
And she was like, yeah, like we can hang out closer to where I am because whatever. And I was like, okay, where at? And that's the last message.
But
She
you saw,
read
but
where
you saw
she
red.
read where at, and then she didn't respond.
Wow.
Left on red.
Definitely
Left on red, baby.
Left
Yeah.
on red.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that does happen, but so I learned to deal with it because that happens a few times. It happened to me a few times too, though. So like in terms of like,
Yeah.
just
That's
just
never
being stood
happened
up.
to me. Yeah.
You're
it
young,
sucks.
Danny. Don't worry, you'll learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be
Alright,
stood up a couple times before. My heart breaks forever.
Okay, let me tell you, Danny. Life lesson. Doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah.
I was salty about it that night, and then after
Just
that
a
night,
waste of
like the next
time.
morning.
It is wasted. Well,
Yeah.
it is still. He was gonna take her to this nice place, and he was already there in a sense already. So
Yeah.
I was
You
there
didn't-
for an hour. I
You
waited
didn't have
for an
dinner or
hour.
anything, right? You kind of just left.
No, I had I dinner by myself. I sat at the tape. No, I'm kidding. No, I left. I left, and that's it. Like But I did wait for an hour, you know?
Yeah.
So it would have been nice if she would have just communicated like, hey, I'm so sorry, you know, but she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And we were taught like, whatever. So it is what it is.
Oh, it happens. So, I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Man.
All right. So we appreciate having you on, Danny, first of all. Thanks for
having me. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your little bit personal life, a little bit, some amazing magic tricks. Would you like to pimp anything out? Where people can find you, follow you? When is your tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
exclusive tour video. Is that
right?
Never before seen.
There we go.
Yeah. So thanks. My Instagram is Danny H Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is just Danny H Magician. And if you want to just find me on Google, I have like a Google listing. You can find like my website, everything else through there. Just search up on Google Danny H Magician, and you'll find me.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun getting to talk to you guys and share a little bit of magic.
No, I appreciate for you just hopping on, because I feel like we needed some episode like this, because I want Robert talked about magic the other day. I'm a big fan of magic. I was like, you know what? I think audience want to know is magic is real. So I think you're the perfect fit for this. So.
Yeah.
Well, magic is real.
There we go. All right. Well, for those who are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, please make sure leave a comment. Let us know your favorite magician, and just watch this episode live on YouTube. It's much better.
Just watch it on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smash that like button.
Subscribe
smash
below,
the subscribe
please.
too. And then you leave us a comment telling us your favorite magician or maybe favorite magic tricks that you've seen. Tell Danny how crazy his trick was. That's and then if you want to listen to any of our other episodes, you can go on our website www.gfotthoughts.com.
Well, Danny, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Guys.
See you later.
See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast. If you are watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and leave us a comment. And as always, you can find us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GFOThoughts. Until next time, see you then.